Calling to order the regular meeting of the Wheeling Plan Commission for Wednesday, May 25th, 2022. Please stand for the pledge. Before we start, I'd like to welcome our newest commissioner at my far right. Steve Casper was appointed by President Horker and sworn in at the May 16th board meeting. So welcome, Steve.
Thank you. I look forward to serving the village.
Mr. Secretary, roll call.
Commissioner Hyken.
Here.
Commissioner Berkey.
Here.
Commissioner Sprague is here. Commissioner Riles.
Here.
Commissioner Casper.
Present.
Chairman Johnson.
Here. Ms. Nyes, any changes to the agenda tonight?
No changes.
All right. Citizens' concerns and comments. I don't know if we had anybody sign up for things other than the public hearings.
I don't think so.
Appear to, okay. We have no consent items tonight, so we'll go right into the items for review and start with docket number PC 22-09, minor building appearance approval for exterior changes to the facade at 212 South Milwaukee Avenue. Ms. Nice?
This one is pretty straightforward. It's before you for minor building appearance approval. The petitioner wishes to paint the brick on the three sides of the building. And it'll go from this white and dark brown look to a darker brown and lighter brown look. These, the renderings really, it's not exactly what it will look like. I don't have a picture of the sample that was painted on there, or do I?
Yeah, that's it right there, isn't it?
Is that it? So if you look where my pointer is to the middle of the screen, there are two different colors there. So the whole building will be a dark color. So the one thing that staff wanted to make sure that the Plan Commission was okay with was whether changing the brick color scheme from a white and brown to a light brown and dark brown color is acceptable on top of the overall issue of painting the brick on the building. That's all.
Thank you. And is the petitioner here? Please step forward, give us your name and business address for the record.
Ed Krastowski, and I do own and manage the property at 212 South Milwaukee Avenue.
Okay. Explain what it is we're discussing.
We've owned the building since 1985. The original building was built in 1968. Obviously, there have been changes to South Milwaukee Avenue. For instance, the building we put up in 2010, just to the south of this one, is a brown brick that's very close to 210 South Milwaukee Avenue, which is the building, which is the lot line building next to 212. So we just wanted to kind of bring it all into line. We've made improvements in the building. A couple of years ago, we re-roofed it, and now we'd like to, kind of update the appearance of the building. The color that we picked, the main theme where we're painting the white brick, is going to mimic the two buildings to the south and to the north, kind of more of a clay color. We still want to have the two-tone look, so we've got what's essentially kind of a coffee color to fill in, and it closely mimics the color that's there now, the contrasting color. Again, it's just to kind of freshen up the building. We've had some tuck pointing done. We've replace some of the chipped and cracked bricks. I think the mortar's in great shape, but there is a little color variation, and the same with the bricks, so this will kind of make it all look uniform again. The painting, the coating, we're looking at getting at least a 15-year warranty on the product, so we feel that, we're looking at the next 10 to 15 years of an improvement on the look of the building.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it?
All right, we'll go to the commissioners and start with Commissioner Riles.
Thank you. I'm just curious, and you explained why you're making the changes. Honestly, the building to me has a little of a distinguished look with the color, and it certainly is recognizable, when driving by, obviously. So I was just kind of, and I understand you want to move with the times and upgrade and make it more appealing. But does maintenance, you talked about tuck pointing and repairs or whatever the case may be, does that factor in? Because again, it looks like a distinguished look, which kind of like stands out and separates you from the others, along the line. So I was just wondering, does maintenance come into play as far as changing of the color?
Not so much maintenance, but just kind of a new look, I think, is what it came down to. Again, as I mentioned, it's 1968. It was sort of in our opinion, it's a little dated, and we're just trying to kind of bring it up to maybe a little more modern.
No, I understand. I think just from the layperson, driving by and
Right.
seeing it, for me, as a resident, it kind of like stands out and it has a unique look to it. So, but I understand certainly. Thank you.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening.
Hi.
I don't have so much of a problem painting the brick, but I'm concerned about the product that you're going to use, that it's made specifically for brick, and that the prep work that needs to be done beforehand is taken care of.
We've looked at two different companies. There's a company out there you may be familiar with called Rhino Shield, and they specifically make a product, two-step product with a bonding primer and then the coating. And they actually give us a 25-year warranty. There are two other products that we're also looking into. One, I believe, is a 10-year and the other one's a 15. So all of these will be warranted. Benjamin Moore makes a product for painting the exterior brick, but they all take into account the need for a specific kind of binding and primer and preparation. So we're taking a look very closely. But we do want to look at getting at least a 10-year warranty on the product.
And you're having a contractor apply this, or you apply?
Yes, they will be applied professionally. And again, I believe in order for the warranty to be something that will get with the product, it has to be applied per the manufacturer's recommendations, yes.
Okay. The only other thing I noticed is the section that you painted, that won't be easy to clean off if you're not allowed to paint your building.
Well, we're going to have to get the power washer out, that's for sure, yeah.
All right. That's all I have. Thanks.
All right.
Commissioner Berkey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I really don't have any questions. I just wanted to say I personally think it's while normally we are not fans of painting brick, I think this is a good choice here. My opinion would be the light brown probably be the best choice with slight contrast to the rest of the brown brick. That's the only part you're painting is the white part, right?
Actually, we're going to paint everything.
Okay, okay.
That's where we provided the two color samples. So the white brick will be the lighter kind of clay-looking, brick-looking color. Yeah. And then where we already have sort of a chocolate brick, we're going with kind of what I call a coffee color or something.
Sure. That
closely matches what's there now.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think it's a good choice, so, that's it, all I had to say, all I had.
Commissioner Heiken.
My question's already been asked, so no questions. Thank you.
And Commissioner Casper, anything?
I like the idea of a new look. and I don't have any issues or questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, normally we shy away from painting brick, but there's been a lot of new products that have hit the market in the time that I've been up here. They can give you a good warranty like that, and it's done professionally. I don't have a problem. Does staff need to see spec sheets on or anything, Marcy?
When it well, it won't come in for permit.
Right.
So as of right now, this is where it stops. So if the Plan Commission wants to make sure it's a suitable product, then you might want to put a condition on that they submit manufacturer specifications to staff prior to proceeding with the work, because this does not require a permit from the village.
Okay. Do you think it's necessary?
I mean, I would like to know what's going on there. I mean, I think it would be easy for you to provide it.
Yeah, and I guess it'd be good for future reference. The next person that comes along, 10 years from now, we can say, yeah, go check that building out.
Very good.
Still looks good.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the commission? Nope, nope, nope. And do we have any conditions on this, Marcy?
Just the one I'm adding, if you would like me to add it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Petitioner shall submit manufacturer's specification sheets prior to painting, or specification sheets to staff prior to painting.
Not a problem. All right. With that condition, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Hyken and Berkey. Commissioner Hyken.
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey.
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Commissioner Casper.
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. Go forth and paint.
Great,
Okay.
thank you very much.
All right, next up we have docket 2022-19, special use to permit an adult use cannabis dispensary for the 50/50 group at 781 North Milwaukee. Mr. Secretary?
The 50/50 Group contractor purchaser is seeking special use approval pursuant to Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19.10, Use Regulations and associated sections, in order to permit an adult use cannabis dispensary located at 781 North Milwaukee Avenue, which is Zone MXT, Transit-Oriented Mixed Use. A special use is defined in the zoning code as a use of parcel of land that requires review and consideration before approval due to the potential for negative impacts on surrounding properties. In order to be considered for a special use, the petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at a public hearing that the request meets the standards of the village code, including but not limited to how the proposed use will not damage the enjoyment or use of the surrounding properties. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that the request meets the standards for a special use as established in Title 19. The Commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the village board.
Thank you. Ms. Nye?
Yes, first, I just wanted to clarify that the zoning district was incorrectly given to Commissioner Sprague. It is commercial residential mixed use and not transportation-oriented mixed use. So I apologize, the staff's error. So just in general, wanted to make sure everyone was familiar that a dispensary is a licensed facility for selling or dispensing cannabis, and we only permit it by special use in 4 zoning districts. That would be the B2, B3, MXC, and MXT zoning districts. So this property is located in the MXC zoning district. We do have, if anybody's interested, we have a cannabis fact sheet that goes over the requirements and limitations. So there are some limitations and restrictions where they can and cannot be, requirements for parking, and a few other things. So I think the petitioner is going to come up and do a presentation, but staff has recommended 2 conditions for the approval. Would you like me to read them
Yes,
now? Okay.
as well.
Number
Since you
1
mentioned them.
is the special use for the operation of a cannabis dispensary does not permit the on-site consumption of cannabis and/or cannabis-related products. And number 2, prior to any exterior building and/or facade modifications, including but not limited to painting, shall be first reviewed by the Plan Commission. This does not apply to any landscape replacements in adherence with the approved landscape plans.
Okay, thank you. Is the petitioner here? Come on up. I have to swear you in and get your name and business address. So do you swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth?
I do.
All
My
right.
name's Scott Weiner, and the business address is 781 North Milwaukee Avenue.
All right. The floor is yours, sir.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me today. I know that this is still a new process for a lot of villages, although you have the Hatch dispensary
Get
here.
the microphone a little closer to you so our vast audience at home can hear you.
We've submitted many documents. Today I brought with our architect, Jamie, my zoning attorney, John Fritchie, and Zach Zeises, who is consulting with us from Dispensary 33 in Chicago. Just in case there's any questions that may be technical to bring them in for. But essentially what we're looking to do here is open up a cannabis dispensary as well as a Westtown bakery with some breakfast cocktails, sandwiches, everything you can think of, seating, as well as an area for people to, basically the blue area, if you look up there, is going to be the food and beverage space. We will be also keeping a good amount of the kitchen that's there, so we'll be able to do, birthdays and, any other type of stuff, brunches, anything like that. The dispensary is the green area, which is in the middle, and we can get into all the security and all that. The state process was extremely in-depth, hundreds of pages in the application, so there's a lot going on there, which I may have one of our experts talk through. And the purple area is more the kind of back-of-house area, restricted area as it's called, where no guest will be able to go, and anyone in there will need to have a special permit or essentially go through a security protocol, which requires 8 hours at the state, I believe. So, in terms of the overall project, I know there's a lot going on here, so rather than me ramble on about this for 20 minutes, which I can if you'd like me to, I'd love it if you just had some questions for me.
Marcy, do you have the flow diagram that was in our packet?
I did not put the security one up here because I wasn't sure if we wanted it shown. If they wanted it shown.
This one with the arrow.
Yeah, I
Didn't
didn't,
load that one.
oh,
Well,
no.
Security is a great question. If you want to talk through it a little bit.
just sort of walk us through how the layout that's up there is going to work.
Sure. So guests will come in through the bottom right, same entrance as Twin Peaks had. On the left will be a security checkpoint. So guests won't need to go through security to come to the bakery, to come through the diner, the coffee. That is going to be completely open to all, and we are hoping to, capture a good amount of business from the hotel and the commuters on Lake Cook, Milwaukee Avenue. If anyone wishes to go into the dispensary, they'll have to go through the security protocol, the cameras, IDs, and then they'll be allowed in. There are restrictions as to loitering inside there, so this isn't going to be a dispensary where, you know, people are going to be in there kind of hanging out for hours and, you know, chilling with the vibe or whatever people might want to do in a dispensary. But at the same time, we're not trying to be that sort of bank-esque transaction that a lot of dispensaries are known for. We're in, out, see around. And we feel that the bakery, the breakfast, the amenities to this really provide a lot of value, as there will be close to 200 dispensaries open in the state. And while Wheeling has been very fortunate to have one of them, while it's been a very limited, there's going to be a lot of competition. So the question is, why should people want to come here, want to visit this dispensary in Wheeling? And we hope that they'll make this more part of their life routine as opposed to just a place to go and buy cannabis. Anyhow, in the flow of traffic, the middle is the point of sale. So there'll be a lot of places for guests to pre-order outside of the building. What I believe is about 35% of most cannabis in Chicago is via pre-order, via the apps. So there will be people that come straight in, they'll pick up, and you can see the exit in the right there. So there'll be a separate exit for people to leave. And that will be, you know, per state law, which, you know, we would never be able to open without passing that inspection, as well as your building inspections as well. It's completely segregated from any of that blue area. The purple area is essentially where the cannabis will be sorted, put in the bags, and the guests will come to that, basically where the green and purple meet, to pick up their purchases once it's been made. In terms of security, I forgot what exhibit it is in the state application, but it's very in-depth. There are cameras, at least $95,000 worth of cameras going into this thing, all over the place. And basically anywhere that Twin Peaks had a TV is where there'll now be a camera. So there'll be that. We're also required by the state to have an outsourced security. Our security will be unarmed. And, you know, if we were to be robbed, it would be, you know, very, very difficult with everything under lock, key, and vault. But we do have cameras everywhere, and there will be a lot of security to protect everybody as well as the village.
Okay. This is a public hearing. I don't know if there's anybody from the public that came to speak on this. I don't believe anybody signed up down there. Okay, so we'll go to the commission. Let's start with Commissioner Hyken this time.
Thank you. Thank you for coming to Wheeling. It's pretty exciting to be having another restaurant on Restaurant Row. I just have a couple questions. You said in your letter that you're not making any changes for landscaping. However, the landscaping there needs a lot of work.
Well, that's an understatement that the landscaping needs a lot of work. You can tell that a restaurant was there that didn't make it through COVID. I will tell you that in a future meeting, I am going to come here to talk about some painting to the facade. And I took notes on everything that you guys talked about, by the way. So I'll have manufacturer's codes, everything you need. But one of the challenges of this building is it is sort of tucked away under Lake Cook Road.
Kind of.
And I was a huge fan of Claim Jumper, by the way. I went to college in Las Vegas. Frankly, was surprised it didn't make it here. And having a beautiful landscape is critical to people feeling that this is a place to stop by. And it's also, in my opinion, one of the anchors of Restaurant Row.
Correct.
So it's got to be gorgeous, and it will be well taken care of and cleaned up. And if we do add a bush or a tree, I'll bring that up next month or whenever, and we'll make sure we go through the process.
Okay, so then the window frames that are rusting as well, that's all going to be painted and cleaned up?
This building, unfortunately, for as beautiful as it once was, it needs a lot of work.
Correct.
Yeah, we're spending well over $2 million to stand up this business on top of the purchase of real estate.
Okay, the only one other thing that stood out for me when I went by there was the condition of the parking lot as well. Is there plans to have that resurfaced or patched or?
So that technically is part of the planned development from my understanding, and we pay, I believe, the hotel a monthly
Okay.
stipend. So, but I'm in the same boat as you. I think that it needs a lot of work and it needs to be beautified.
Okay, and then my last question, what's planned for signage there?
We'll be back next month with
Okay.
signage, but I am going to ask for one variance, going over so people can see us on Lake Hook. Everything else completely to your codes, and nothing obscene, no cannabis flowers or, bongs or anything like that. This will be very professionally done. The name of the dispensary is called, as it's in the notes, OK Dispensary. So we also think that it's a very just welcoming and not obscene.
Is the bakery going to be, what are the hours of operation for the bakery?
Bakery, fluid. It's fluid. We have. This will be our fifth Westtown bakery, and we have more planned. They all operate at different hours. I think initially we'll probably start with like 6 a.m., but we may deviate to more like a 7, which is what most of our places run downtown. Some of the hotel properties that they're in are 6. It's going to depend on the commuter traffic. From my studies, and you guys probably know better than me, I think there's about 32,000 cars that come up and down Lake Hook and Milwaukee every day. So that will give us a large amount of, that'll dictate the bakery's operation.
Okay. That's all I have, thank you.
Thank you.
And again, welcome.
Thank you.
Commissioner Berkey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I have a question. You have an event lounge here at the bottom. What sort of events are you planning there?
Sure. Well, going back to my statement prior with a lot of new licenses coming into the state, down the road at some point, I would like to, as we look and see what's happening in the state, I may potentially come back for a consumption. That's not in the plans at this time. With that said, I do think that it's important to have a place for people to hang out, work on their laptops, have some educational seminars, whether that be cannabis related or not. I understand the village right now is changing some of their protocols on farmers markets. In a perfect world, at some point, we would like to have Wheeling's first small farmers market in the front part of that parking lot, assuming other businesses were okay with that. But mainly it's an amenity. If someone wants to host a chef-driven dinner, we can do that there. And if they decide they want to, purchase cannabis before or after, we're happy for that as well. But what it won't be is, it won't be a nightclub or anything, crazy. It's not going to be open till midnight or 2 a.m. It's not what we're doing.
Okay. And then I noticed there's doorways into the cannabis dispensary as well as into the bakery. So I'm assuming that that's a common area that can be entered from either of those places, but what's the flow of traffic? You wouldn't be able to get into the cannabis dispensary through the event lounge?
Correct. You will not be able to come in that way. You'll only be able to exit from the dispensary in there. And even with that, there's going to be security there as well.
Okay. And then last question, so then I also noticed where the employees of the dispensary enter through the bakery, I assume that that's equally as secure then as the entrance for the patrons, correct?
It is. And there, as I mentioned before, there still is going to be some kitchen equipment back there and dishwashing. But yes, it will be equally as secure. And there will be employees of the bakery that are not able to enter through that secure area. With that said, there will not be any employees under 21 working in this facility, just to harbor on the safe side.
Even on the bakery side, too? Okay.
Even on the bakery side.
Okay. Okay. That's all the questions I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening.
Good evening.
Your bakery, is that also going to include sit-down order type breakfasts?
Yeah, and this diagram's not the best to see. Somewhere in the packets, you can see a full layout of everything. So the way we're sort of looking at it right now is guests will come in and sort of create a line. The top of the bakery, like the top of what's currently the Twin Peaks bar, there will be turbo chef, there'll be some cooks that would be preparing kind of like sandwiches, whether that be breakfast, lunch to order. Going down the line, you'll get the Danish, the croissant pastries. If anyone's ever been to Westtown Bakery before, we're world famous for our cake balls. So there'll be a large display for that as well. And then you'll pay at the bottom right. I'm nervous, so I don't know what direction that is right now, but you'll pay at the bottom right. There will be on the weekends more of a sit-down service, especially in the summer when we can utilize that outdoor area. And I'll also note that we're not 100% set in stone that that's in the quote-unquote event area, that's going to be the final layout. It is a little bit more loungy at this time, and I think that business will dictate whether that becomes more of a sit-down restaurant environment or more of that sort of lounge look which you see right now. As well as, sorry to keep going, the booths that are there will be another place people will be able to sit down, and we envision people working at the bar top. I don't know if anyone's ever been to a Dark Matter coffee, but it looks like a bar. You go there, you get your espresso, you work on your laptop. You can get a Bloody Mary too. So that's how we envision that with servers.
Thank you. I noticed there's a light pole sitting out in the parking lot. Is that from the construction going on to the south of you?
The one that's tipped over and broken?
Yeah.
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 That's fine.
I don't know. I've seen it, and I'm not
It
going
was
to point
just
any
a convenient
fingers.
spot to set it.
I don't know where it came from, but I'll make sure it's not there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, the rest of my questions have been asked and answered. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Riles.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. How are you?
I'm okay. Thank you.
Good. I'm just curious, and maybe I'm missing it or whatever. The first thing is for the dispensary, you're going to be able to enter the regular entrance, and you're going to have the option of going to the left to enter into the bakery and buy whatever you want there.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to go get some cannabis or whatever, then you'll have to come back, go through security to go into the blue entrance there, is it?
The blue entrance is the bakery.
Is the bakery.
The green is the green's a dispensary. So there's no point in which you could enter the green area without going through security. But the blue area, you are able to enter without going through security.
So the blue area is the bakery.
Yeah, the bakery
That's the
restaurant.
bakery area.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I thought the green portion was the bakery area, because you said from the purple area, you would be able to pick up your cannabis.
The purple area is like the restricted
That's where-
area.
Yeah, that's the restricted area where they're preparing and packaging and having it for
Yes.
you. And so whatever order you make, you're in that green area, and then you go to the purple border area, so to speak, to pick up your product.
Correct.
So if you want to eat in the blue area, and then you decide, hey, I want to, get some cannabis for the road, then you go out, go through security into the green, make your decision, and then pick up your package at that window there.
Correct. Any other way, and the state would shut us down immediately, and they can see our cameras.
Sure. The other question I had was, and I'm a novice or a naive. does the two clientele merge into one, so to speak? So what I guess I'm saying is that people who purchase cannabis are the same customers or clientele that say, hey, I want to have a muffin and a croissant. It seemed like it's a two different clientele, so to speak.
I'm a restaurateur, and obviously I have 15 restaurants and bars in Chicago. Family restaurants, bakeries, fine dining. I also manage the theaters at Second City. I'm in hotels. And we're doing a very similar project like this in Chicago. Property which I own. The First Roots Pizza. Next door is Westtown Bakery, which will be producing most of the baked goods for this place, at least the bulk stuff. And then on the roof, there's a more upscale place called Homestead on the roof. Mm-hmm. And the traffic that cannabis does bring to a block, watching Dispensary 33 open in what I would say is not the best location in Lincoln Square in Chicago. There's now an Orange Theory. The amount of retail that's popping up around it is truly stunning from what that was 5 years ago. So I said when we went for that, that first license in Chicago, that if we have a dispensary next to our restaurants, it will give us another 10 years of longevity for a restaurant. These restaurants are already 10 years old, so they've already beat the odds. I do feel that coffee, espresso, place to hang out and do some work on your laptop or have a casual lunch with the girls, whatever it is, I feel like that is a good fit with the dispensary as well, and it'll give people multiple reasons to come here.
Okay. It's new to me. Like I said, I'm not as versed on it, so that's one reason why I had the question.
It's new to everyone. For me, I believe that there's a path forward where hospitality and cannabis and the restaurant industry start merging, and I think we'll see that. I think this is maybe a little bit of that start.
All right, the other question is, and we talked about it cosmetically, when you see dispensaries, it's kind of, when I see them, or when I first saw it, again, I didn't know what it was, right?
Sure.
Because it's kind of obscure, and it's, and you talked about signage and what you're planning on adjusting there, but cosmetically, what can we expect to see?
It's a great question. Well, I'm going to first, cosmetically, this building is going to be something we're all going to be proud of. So as I go through this process, I understand that there's going to be some eyes on me and that I need to reflect well upon the community, as well as just about every investor that is involved in this project lives in this community, or Deerfield, or Northbrook, Buffalo Grove, where I'm from. So I believe that we're going to want and have something that is beautiful that we can all be proud of. Now, what am I allowed to do to the cosmetics of this? Right now I'm looking at painting. And I heard we don't like to paint brick here, but there's been a lot of movement in the last 10 years. I'm also concerned because of the amount of landscaping that surrounds this on Milwaukee Avenue, the fact that Lake Cook is elevated over the building. I'm also concerned. I want to look for ways where I can stand out and be attractive, but not be an eyesore or what is that? The word dispensary will be on the signage, so people will know. For those that don't know what a dispensary is, then there's the chance they're not going to go to any dispensary. I don't know that we're trying to make people who don't use cannabis want to start using it. I think we're just a convenience for them, and if they're interested, they know we're here. But yeah, there will be a good amount of marketing where we're able to, but as I said, no cannabis leaves or, anything crazy going on in the parking lots. And the farmers market I looked at is a great opportunity. Bring people to this community, bring people to to this parking lot, if you will, and they say, oh, look at that. And, you know, we're involved in the farmers markets in Chicago as well. So it's also something where I know a lot of those local craftsmen and farmers are excited for the opportunity to come out here and let people get to know them.
Okay. Thank you so much. And the other question I do have, and again, it's regarding the clientele.
Sure.
And, you know, in the world that we're living in today, you know, it's a very interesting dynamic. But you said your workers will be 21 years of age working there for obvious reasons. How do you plan to entertain a family, let's say a young family?
Sure.
You know, younger generation engage in cannabis use. Talked about coffee, espresso, whatever the case may be for the bakery. They had two small kids or, you know, toddlers or young 8, 10-year-old. How do you entertain a family interested in coming to your location?
It's a great question, and something that's come up often as we plan this. The farmers market, honestly, when we get that opportunity to do that, I think that's one of the most family-friendly things you can do. With that said, we are not going to be targeting this business towards kids, even on the bakery side. Now, if a family believes that they want to come here and bring their kids for brunch, all for it. But that's not who we're going to be targeting because, you know, I don't know that I'm going to bring my kids to a place that sells cannabis right now. I understand that there's a reason you have to be 21 to purchase it in Illinois. And even having the bakery next to it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to bring my 4-year-old.
No, and the reason I ask is because you talked about the hotel there, right?
Yeah.
And I know that pre-pandemic, there were a lot of things going on there, whether it's gymnastics or, you know, dance clubs and things for the weekend.
Sure.
where families are staying there. And obviously they're in the area, they're in Restaurant Row, and they're looking for a place to go. And so I would imagine once we get past, you know, the obstacles that we face as a society, that a lot of those events will resume over there, and they're going to be young families in town looking for a place to grab a quick, you know, bagel or whatever the case may be. And that's why I pose the question.
Sure.
To give you a perspective on what possibly you may have to look forward to.
Sure. Well, there will not be unattended minors in the bakery. With that said, I do think that if a parent comes and brings their kids in there, it's going to be a welcoming environment. Westtown Bakery is known for having a lot of families there. But it's a good question. I think we're going to sort of learn that dynamic. I've been thinking much more about the weddings that go to the hotels on Friday and Saturdays, as well as the convention type stuff that's there. I'm a huge fan of Serenello's, so I go there quite often, and I see the clientele there. I've got my frequent diner card in my wallet. You know, I am a former Let Us Entertain You employee, and, you know, the Melmans are aware of this project as well. So I think we're going to be looking at ways to make it a welcoming environment for people. And if someone chooses to bring their family there, and we realize that's becoming a bigger part of our business, then we're going to adapt to it.
And I appreciate you answering that. And I wasn't asking questions to put you on the spot, but I mean, it's legitimate questions that I think even Twin Peaks kind of somewhat had to answer, so to speak, because Twin Peaks and, you know, the whole deal. So I hope you didn't take me asking you, put me on the spot, but
No.
I think it's important for you and of course for the community.
Thank you.
But thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Commissioner Casper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'm nervously preparing at the last minute for my very first meeting, and I'm looking at the material, and I'm seeing dispensary and bakery. And I thought, that's an odd combination. And then a few years ago, I read about a place that was serving chicken and waffles. And I said, hey, that's a great idea. I have to go try that. And I had to drive a long distance to get there. So I think this is a novel idea. I love the idea of taking over that huge empty space, which I drive by at least once a day. Will you be baking on site, or will your product come from a different location?
The majority of our product's going to be coming from our main giant bakery on Chicago Avenue in Chicago. But there will be some baking on site, but most of that will be finishing. We're not going to be investing in a $80,000 spiral mixer here, so there will be some batters that are brought in and finished on site, give that fresh bakery smell.
So I won't smell it as I'm driving by on Milwaukee Avenue?
I mean, if I know when you're driving by, I'll figure something out.
I'm going to keep my comments very, very short. What type of food will you be serving in the evening, let's say 6 to 10? Are you going to be still serving breakfast items, or is it going to be more sandwiches and pastries?
So at the top end, it's going to be more sandwiches and pastries. One of the challenges of the space is that you do have to be an authorized personnel to be in that authorized area where there is some cooking equipment. So, and we're also having a lot of challenges right now hiring in the hospitality industry, as you can imagine. So I'm saving that question because I don't know the answer just yet. I know that if somebody books a private event, then this is much easier. I can have a chef on site and we can prepare the food. I don't think that this is going to be, let me say it this way, I'm not planning on having buffalo wings or stuff like that from 6 to 10. I think it's going to be very minimal on the food and beverage side, and I don't know that the bakery is going to be, full service that late.
Final question, do you currently have or have plans for a similar type of operation with the dispensary and the bakery in one place?
I do. Another village in Illinois, and I apologize, I don't want to.
That's fine.
I can't say where, but yes, that one will have full service food and beverage. It will have a large event space.
No, I'm just talking about the combination of cannabis and breakfast, bakery type.
Yes, no, I'm doing this exact same concept in the southern suburbs of Illinois. Just this is a very special and unique building. The other location will not be as large, but yes, exactly the same thing. And I do believe there's similarities to the Ukrainian village, Chicago Avenue, where there's the dispensary, bakery, and then 2 restaurants.
I don't have any further questions. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, one of the things that stood out in your narrative was the number of employees you're talking about bringing in.
Yeah.
90 full-time employees just for the dispensary and 62 more in the bakery, all full-time. I mean, that seems like a lot of people.
Sure.
You're going to have parking problems just with employees. Obviously not all at the same time, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're staggered by shift, and right now I'm hoping for the best possible outcome, which is that we're very, very busy. So some of those employees include, salaried personnel, some people within the restaurant group's infrastructure, such as accounting, security, payroll, but there is a lot of security in this space that's big too.
Sure.
So I hope we're at that number.
Hope you can find that many people.
I would tell you, my entire company as a whole has about 900 employees.
Oh, okay.
So, in a size this space, it's not unrealistic.
Now, some of the bakery employees will have to be authorized in order to get to the kitchen, right?
Correct.
And I know you can't sell infused products at the bakery, correct?
Correct.
But will that kitchen be making infused products for the dispensary?
That would be illegal without an infuser's license.
Oh, okay. So all of your product is being brought in from other sources?
Correct. Once we break the seal on any cannabis that's in there, it's got to go to the garbage, essentially.
Okay. That answers a couple of my questions.
And we have a destruction area as well.
Yeah. The event space, I think we talked about, I'm still a little concerned that it almost looks like it can be used from the dispensary. And you kind of hinted it down the road, maybe it could be.
Consumption, down the road, and if I do come back with that, it's going to be a very well thought out proposal showing you what Mundeleин's doing where there's already an open consumption and, showing what everyone else is doing. Quite frankly, you don't make money in consumption. So to me, it's somewhat of a waste of space. But if people aren't coming to this dispensary because they're going to another village where there is consumption, perhaps Sunnyside up in Buffalo Grove, for example, that is also doing similar things that we're showing you right now, then we all lose. And at which time there will be a whole new opportunity to grill me.
Fire department, anything from your end on this?
Most of it is going to be addressed probably during the permitting building process. The secured areas, just like we worked with Hatch, we'll work out the details of having access for the fire department to get around wherever they need to into the building. It's a fully sprinklered building and the fire alarm is, fully, and we'll just make sure there's updates as needed during the building process.
I was wondering about that event space, if they need another exit out of there. I mean, it's not really in our bailiwick.
Yeah, and then again, the exiting, that too, when they get the final layout and we get it in building, review and stuff, we can determine, make sure the exiting is proper distances and amount for the amount of people. That was a large space and they did have, obviously, proper exiting for Twin Peaks and a lot of people. So the exiting number should be fine, just the logistics we'll figure out.
Okay, thank you. Well, I guess the other thing can wait until you come back with signage possibilities. I was a little concerned with the OK Cannabis Experience, Cafe, Dispensary, Private Events. I assume that was a byline underneath the...
Yeah, that's not what that's not what the sign is going to say.
Okay.
The sign's going to say OK Dispensary, or it may have cannabis in there somewhere. But yeah, it's not going to have all that other stuff.
And something about the bakery too, I presume.
Separate sign for the bakery.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay.
Excuse me, Chairman, if I may, John Fritchie on behalf of the
You need
applicant.
to be sworn.
Yeah, you need to be sworn in.
It's simply on a technical correction, but I'm happy, I'm not testifying, but up to you.
You swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth?
I do. I just want to say that the applicant was identified when he was called up as the 50/50 group. The applicant is actually CZEM LLC, which is reflected on all the documents, but I just want to make sure for the record that it's right.
Could you spell that? Our
Yeah.
documents do say the 50/50 group, so.
Well, here with the documents that were submitted and on the response and on the application itself say CZEM. It's CESAM as in Mary, LLC. I just want to make sure that all the.
Okay, and could you
records are-
say your name, just the people who are doing the minutes need
Yep.
to know
I'm
that.
John Fritchie, I'm the attorney with respect to the rezoning for this matter. I've also represented the applicant on behalf of the Westtown Bakeries down in Chicago, as well as the proposed cannabis dispensary on Chicago Avenue as well.
Okay, thank you. Marcy, you have a question from the staff?
Yeah, well, one thing about, it's not a big deal about this name, but the application form, like A1 and stuff, we have to make sure it has the same name. Or whatever we have, it doesn't have that, so we'll have to have it updated.
I'm happy to substitute those in, but I've got what I submitted right now with respect to the A1, the A2, and they do indicate the business name as CZEM LLC, and was executed by the managing partner of CZEM LLC.
Okay, but then the cover letter references the business owner as 50/50. We can settle up with that after. We just have to have it clear in the record.
I'm happy to give you whatever I want. I was actually trying to make sure I clarified it and was consistent
Yeah, we
with
just have to clarify it.
with what we submitted to you.
Yeah, before we get to the village board.
Right, absolutely.
So it's okay right now.
Okay.
So you had stated that you're not really going to be serving food in the evening, but then can you still get drinks?
No, what I had stated is I'm not going to be serving like buffalo wings and like a restaurant-style food. I'm still going to have food being served there from the bakery.
Oh,
The sandwiches, I'm just not going to be.
you said there would be minimal food between 6 and 10 p.m.
Correct, meaning it's not a full-service restaurant. There won't be a kitchen in the back cooking a whole menu.
Right.
It'll be up front.
So I think we need to be careful there because that's when it can't turn into a bar.
Correct. I'm aware, the liquor is incidental to the food.
Right, but if it's not a full-service restaurant, all the time it's open, then what is it?
There will be someone there making sandwiches as full service. What I'm saying is it's not going to be a place where you're going to sit down at a table at all hours of the night and there might be a server and bartenders and, cocktailers. That's not what we're doing. There will be food there, whether people can sit down, some of this is going to depend on business, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I'm just trying to draw the mentality away that this is like a sports bar type thing when I was talking about the buffalo wings.
I just want the planning commission to know that the staff separated the bakery and determined that it was not a bar because it was supposed to be a full-time restaurant.
Right, and the bakery is not part of the.
The bakery is
special
not
use.
part of the special use. So
Correct,
I just want that to be clear. So it really
hard for
needs
us
to be a
to
full-service
divide 'em.
restaurant at all times. In
Understood.
order, or you're going to need to come back for a special use for the bakery.
Understood.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions from the commission?
Do we need any kind of conditions for building appearance changes?
That's already in there.
Okay.
The second condition is prior to any exterior building and/or facade modifications, including but not limited to painting, shall be first reviewed by the Plan Commission, but this does not apply to any landscape replacements in adherence with the approved landscape plan. So they can do landscaping replacements,
long as they
but
don't do
anything
anything.
else, they have to come back.
As long as they don't do a major change to the landscape?
Right, it has to go along with what was approved with Weston PUD.
Okay, great.
And the other condition, the first condition is special use for the operation of a cannabis dispensary does not permit the on-site consumption of cannabis and/or cannabis-related products.
Correct.
So with those two conditions, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Oh, it's
Second.
Eichenberg.
Commissioner Eichen,
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey,
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Riles,
Yes.
Commissioner Casper,
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. All
Okay,
right,
so you will move forward to the village board on, I lost my sheet,
say that.
June 20th.
I thought it was June 3rd. 6th, I'm sorry.
As of right now, it's June 20th. We can talk
Okay.
about that, but there's some reasons why it can't happen on the 6th. But we're working with legal to see if we can.
Okay, 'cause I'll be out of the country.
Oh,
Okay,
And the bank needs the bank needs this as a condition to finally close and start the construction process. So, was supposed to be the 8th.
okay, well, yeah, as of right now, it's the 20th, but I'll talk to the director tomorrow. I know he was working with the attorney on some questions.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Nice to meet
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I need a motion to close docket 2022-19.
So moved.
Second.
Is that, who's second? Commissioner Riles?
No.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Riles,
Yes?
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Casper?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. All right, next up, we have docket 2022-20, special use for recreation and instruction facility for the Bays at 170 Shepard, Suite D. Mr. Secretary.
Kenneth Pencala, The Bays at Cars Supplies Warehouse, leasee, is seeking special use approval pursuant to Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19.10, use regulations and associated sections, in order to permit a recreation instruction facility located at 170 Shepard Avenue, Unit D, which is zoned I3 General Industrial. A special use is defined in the zoning code as a use of parcel of land that requires review and consideration before approval due to the potential for negative impacts on the surrounding properties. In order to be considered for special use, petitioners required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at a public hearing that the request meets the standards of the village code, including but not limited to how the proposed use will not damage the enjoyment or use of the surrounding properties. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that the request meets the standards for special use as established in Title 19. The Commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the village board.
Thank you. Ms. Nyes.
The petitioner's here. I think it's better if they explain what they're doing.
Come on down.
Evening.
The public hearing, so raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name and business address.
Kenneth Pencala, business address is 170 Shepard Avenue, Suite D in Wheeling.
All right, please explain what it is this
That we do.
facility will be doing.
Yes, so this is a new business model. Nothing like this is being done in the United States. Let me start with the fact that I'm a huge car guy, very passionate about vehicles, do a lot of my own mechanical work at home as well as automotive detail or aesthetic care. This business is centered around automotive detailing, but from the perspective of providing customers the first time experience of coming into carsupplieswarehouse.com, but having it brick and mortar. So the last 15 years of automotive detailing, pretty much any high-end brand that you wanted to get your hands on, you had to order over the internet. You couldn't go into a store, pick up a bottle, read the label, talk to a person who knew about it. So we are providing that. So we're bringing in top brands, hand-selected, tested, proven that they work. We are also providing clients with a space to do high-end detail work. So if they wanted to come in and do a full ceramic coating on their vehicle, which gives them the advantages of 3 to 5 years of protection on the car against chemical, UV, things like that, they'd be able to come in, rent time inside the shop, and perform that work, whether it includes doing polishing to the paint, so removing any scratching, swirl marks, etc., to provide a clean canvas for the ceramic coat to be applied. Interior detailing, ceramic coating of leather, trim, wheels, things of that nature. And then the other aspect that we feel is underserved, whether it be for the enthusiast in the detailing world or car guy, as well as professional, is actual detail training. So walking through how to properly polish a car, how to properly apply a ceramic coating. We're working with G-Technique, which is a major manufacturer of products for the detail world, about doing actual G-Technique accreditation. So you have to be accredited to apply their professional pro-level series coating. So we're going to be starting with the basics, such as rinseless, waterless washing techniques, which is a new method of washing your car instead of the traditional hose, bucket, lots of water, lots of splashing, lots of chemicals, where we can actually spray a car with a handheld sprayer and using microfiber towels wash the car. And you can wash about 95% of cars that way. As well as a rinseless method, which involves about 2.5 gallons of water, a wash mitt. That is all the water you're going to use. Wipe the car, dry it as you go through. So we're doing the retail, detail, and training piece. That's our mantra. That's our 3 aspects of the business. So again, it's the retail aspect, offering something that nowhere in the Chicagoland area can you really get your hands on these top-tier products, along with knowledgeable staff. The detail aspect, being able to come in, rent time, work on your own vehicle, and then the training aspects, pretty much having master detailers, vendors come in and provide top-tier training, as well as we're also going to be doing like paint protection film, tint trainings as well. And we're going to be doing group trainings up to a certain amount, and then as well as we're going to be doing one-on-one training. So if you wanted to come in and do a ceramic coating on your car, we could set up a one-on-one training where we train you to do it and help you accomplish that project. And again, this is something that's not being done here in the States. There's some similar models in Europe, but as of right now, this is the only one. I'm doing this as a joint venture with 2 other business owners that are opening their own location in Romeoville. Theirs is going to be a little bit different operation setup, but our goal is to obviously open officially, have the villages sign off, and then use this as a model store for franchises, which we have about 20 gentlemen that are in line, ready to go once we can show the ROI on the investment and the time. So this will be a model store for us. And I've spent a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on this building, revamping it, making it look the way it does interior-wise.
Sounds very impressive.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. Was anyone here to speak on this matter? Apparently not. So we'll start with our car guy, Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, do you own that whole building, the 170?
I do not.
You do not, so you're just leasing?
I'm leasing it from the
Unit D.
landlord, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because that building's in dire need of some repairs, brick-wise. Yeah.
Yes. I concur.
And there's nothing we can do for that, is there?
No, it'll be looked at during the business license process by our code enforcement.
Yeah, there's a lot of missing mortar.
I'm not sure they'll enforce because of that.
Okay, and then also there's quite a bit of garbage laying around the back side of that building.
Right, that they'll write up.
Okay. Will you also be offering services to detail vehicles?
No.
Oh, okay, so it's
No.
all
Correct.
just being able to use a spot to do your own?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Thank you, that's all I have. Thanks.
Commissioner Riles.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, thank you, welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And my apologies for being naive and a novice in this subject matter. But you said you're going to allow people to come in, handle their own detailing.
Correct.
And possibly training if they're interested.
Correct.
Can you educate me and maybe those who are listening as far as safety precautions regarding chemical use? Is it toxic? Is it something to be, concerned about for a consumer?
No. From the amounts that we're going to be using in the detailing process, each bay is set up. We've got separation. There's ventilations. We've got 4 full doors, as well as there is roof vents within the building to run. The chemicals that are going to be used are in small enough amounts that it's not going to create a hazardous environment. Nothing different than any, to your point, full service detail shop would have. Anybody who's coming into that environment, we're not to that point where it would be a hazardous situation. So it's not anything that we've really felt the need or had questions around that as we've been working on building the business model.
So most people who are familiar,
Yeah.
they know what to expect and know what
Correct.
to do.
Yes.
And if they need any training, it's something to add on to
Correct.
their knowledge from what they
Correct.
walk through the
Yes.
door with.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's good. Thank you for clearing that up. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Other questions?
Commissioner Berkey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No questions.
Commissioner Heiken?
Are you going to be storing cars there overnight, or it's?
There might be the occasion where somebody does a ceramic coating, and for it to properly cure, it has to sit indoors. So if it's raining outside, after you apply the ceramic coating, it would have to stay inside for 12 hours. So there is a possibility of a car or two staying there overnight. But that would not be routine. That would be when we're having more of an in-depth, longer training, or somebody's completing one of those projects.
Okay. And then entrance is just one door in, one door out?
There's 4 garage doors.
Yeah.
The way we have it laid out, yes, there's one in and then one out.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Casper?
Just one quick question. So I don't know that much about cars other than you put gas in them and mine is 13 years old. What would be just an approximate cost for a novice to learn the basics of detailing, the training, and then the cost of the products as well?
So for our basic interior training, that would be detailing the interior of your vehicles, which would cover leather, carpet, upholstery, headliner, plastic, windows, things like that. The cost we have set right now for $300, and that would also give you a $50 credit towards products. To do like a ceramic coating, if you came to me and said, hey, I wanted to learn how to do ceramic coating on my car, I want you to do a one-on-one session. Right now we have that running slated to be a $2,000 charge, because the technical knowledge, the time I've spent getting accredited through various vendors, and the knowledge is very valuable, because they could in theory then turn around and make their own business out of doing that. So it varies. And the products vary, but most of the products for a standard, a lot of it's in milliliters, so a 500 milliliter bottle, just over 16 ounces. Average price is probably $19 to $25 for most products. And for like interior, you'd have an interior detailer, a glass cleaner, a leather cleaner, and then a carpet cleaner. Exterior wise, rinseless wash usually comes in larger quantities because it's highly concentrated. So you take 1 ounce and mix it with 2.5 gallons of water. That's what you use. That runs about $30. Ceramic coatings vary, but the average for over-the-counter or prosumer ceramic coating bottle, which is 30 milliliters, which is enough to do a standard size sedan or small SUV, $65 to $100 for that bottle.
That was my only question. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Explain the waterless washing again to me.
Okay. So, waterless, rinseless washing. So it's 2 different terms, very similar. A lot of states, areas, water is expensive. There's controls on it, along with the fact that here in the Midwest even, you can't really get access as a homeowner or a renter to a building to running water in the wintertime, and you can't use it. With that came some technology advances, and so we're focusing on that piece of the puzzle for our model, because we do want to franchise and move into those areas, move into downtown areas, et cetera. Rinseless is you take a 2.5 or a 5-gallon bucket, put 2.5 gallons of water in it, you take 1 ounce of McKee's 37 N914, which is a waterless and rinseless wash. You take your wash media, whether it be a sponge or a microfiber mitt, you do a quick spray down with the same solution that's in a handheld sprayer. Take your mitt, start at the top. So you look at a door, you'd start at the top of the door, slowly go down, not putting absurd amount of pressure, very light pressure, and work your way down. And what happens is that product actually encapsulates the dirt molecules, pulls it off the paint, and it collects onto the mitt without scratching, swirling your car. And then you dry it down. Very similar to the waterless, which is instead of the bucket, you literally have a spray bottle full of that product, spray the car panel down. You do 1 panel at a time. Spray it down, let it dwell for 30 seconds, take towel, and you kind of butterfly it. So you do one edge of the towel, you go to your next area, use a clean section of the towel, and then you flip. Do that all the way down. And you can clean the car. It's obviously much less water being used. The other thing is for your higher end cars, McLarens, Ferraris, Porsches, Lamborghinis, older classic cars, you don't want to introduce a lot of water because water and metal creates rust. So this is basically removing that risk and that piece of the puzzle. And the technology keeps advancing, the formulas keep getting improved, like these 37914 is biodegradable, it meets all water safety standards. So there's a lot of thought, and the technology advancements within the detailing world are moving very quickly, along with like ceramic coating is basically your 2022 version of carnauba wax from 20 years ago, but instead of it lasting 3 months, you can get 2, 3, 6. The pro grades, you can get 10 years out of a single ceramic coating.
Interesting. If your client comes in, you provide the equipment they need, the buffers, anything like that?
Yes, we have those available for rent. So we've partnered with Rupes, which is one of the #1 polishing manufacturers. They're one of our sponsors. They gave us a full lineup of the different polisher machines to use, 5-inch, 6-inch, 3-inch nanos, which go down to 1-inch pads. So we have that. We have carpet extractors. We have paint theft gauges. We have paint correction lighting. So there's specific lighting for doing paint correction and polishing, as well as ceramic coating. Handheld steamers. So if you needed to do that as well, we have that as well.
All right. So, getting back to the waterless, rinseless stuff, so you're not really gonna have anything going down floor drains?
No.
Just from the bucket back to the slop sink or whatever?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything concerning from the fire aspect there?
No, I've actually been over to his facility, met with him, talked, his facility, as he said, he's upgraded it. He's got fire alarm notification devices in there. Again, it's a fully sprinklered building, plenty of exiting for the amount of people that'll be in there, so we're good with it.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the commission?
I have a question. So which product lines are you going to be selling McKee's 37?
Yes.
Full product line?
Majority of it, yes.
Okay.
Right now, we with the retail being new, we took a lot of the best sellers from the .com and we brought those in, and then we're expanding as we get a feel for what the clientele really wants.
I'll be right over. Thank you.
Perfect.
All right, do we have any conditions, Marcy?
No.
No conditions? Then I would love to hear a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Berkey?
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Commissioner Casper?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes.
So you too will go to the village board on June 20th.
June 20th? Okay. Perfect.
So I'll be in contact with you before
All
then.
right. Perfect.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I now need a motion to close 2022-20.
So moved.
Second.
Berkey and Riles?
Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Riles?
Yeah.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Casper?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Yes. All right. Get to the next one here. And finally, tonight, we have docket 2022-21, a special use to permit a massage establishment for Finesse Massage at 737 West Dundee. Mr. Secretary?
Do H. Kim, owner and president of Finesse Massage Lessee, is seeking special use approval pursuant to Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19.10, use regulations and associated sections in order to permit a massage establishment located at 737 West Dundee Road, which is zone MXT, transit-oriented mixed use. That one's right.
Yep.
Yeah, that one would be.
A special use is defined in the zoning code as the use of parcel of land that requires review and consideration before approval due to the potential for negative impacts on surrounding properties. In order to be considered for a special use, the petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Planning Commission at a public hearing that the request meets the standards of the village code, including but not limited to how the proposed use will not damage the enjoyment or use of the surrounding properties. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that the request meets the standards for a special use as established in Title 19. The Commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the Village Board.
Thank you. Ms. Nyes.
So this is a special use request for a massage establishment, and we have one proposed condition that the petitioner shall submit an application for a business license to the Community Development Department upon demonstrating the petitioner and the business operations comply with all requirements of Chapter 4.74 of the Wheeling Municipal Code. A business license shall be obtained prior to operation of the massage establishment at the subject location.
Thank you. Anything else?
No.
And the petitioner is here?
Good evening. Petitioner cannot make it. I'm one of the attorneys helping him.
Okay, well, I need to swear you in.
No problem.
Even though you're an attorney. Do you swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth?
Yes, I do.
State your name and business address.
Okay, my name is Peter Kwan. Business address is 737 West Dundee Road.
All right. What have you got to share with us?
The client is trying to open up a massage business. The business that was previously there has been vacant for, I believe, one to 2 years. So basically, he's trying to move in and establish a new business at the location. He's been given the okay by the surrounding businesses next to him. He's trying to, so the petitioner has experience with this kind of business. He used to own in 2013 a business located in Northbrook, Illinois, similar concept. He sold that business to focus on his main business, which is construction. Now he's looking to get back into this type of business.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, let's start with Commissioner Riles.
I don't have any questions right now.
Okay. Commissioner Sprague?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening.
good evening.
I hate to put a damper on this whole thing, but facility requirements for a massage establishment, it states that toilet facilities shall be provided in convenient locations when employees and patrons of different sexes are on the premises at the same time. Separate toilet facilities shall be provided for each sex. And on your floor plan, I see one bathroom.
Yes, that is true. The petitioner will most likely require a building permit to expand the bathroom.
Also, in those same codes, it says adequate bathing, dressing, and locker facilities shall be provided for the patrons to be served at any given time. And then also a washer and dryer shall be provided on site for laundering sheets and towels.
Washer and dryer can be put into the back room next to the facilities, and one of the rooms can be, could you repeat the last requirement?
Yeah, it's adequate bathing, dressing, and locker facilities.
Locker room style facilities can be partitioned out from one of the rooms. There's 3 rooms at the location. Currently, that's plenty of space. The client intends to only hire 1 worker, or at least 2, maybe 1 for the front, and 1 Illinois licensed massage therapist.
Okay, and then the only other issue that I saw was the front glass on the business. There's a lot of peeling paint on it that'll be addressed also.
Yes, it will be.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Berkey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No questions.
Commissioner Heiken?
No questions, thank you.
And Commissioner Casper?
No questions.
right. Is this a chain of massage facilities? I looked up Finesse and there's
No,
a lot of them came up.
Sorry. No, it isn't. He used to own a facility in Northbrook. This was a DBA. He sold that business, and now he just wants to open his own facility. He's trying to get back into the business.
Why did he get out of the business?
Oh, his main focus was construction. His main company was a construction company. Now he's thinking of becoming a small business owner. And Wheeling, with that location, he knows the landlord, so he thought it was a good spot, and the space has been vacant for a long time.
So he's not currently operating any massage facilities
No,
anywhere else?
no.
This is getting back into it?
Yes, correct.
Well, it sounds like there's going to be some questions at permitting to meet code, whether you need to add a bathroom or something like that.
Yeah, and they'll be required to get a health permit as well. So I think that's when a lot of these get addressed, health permit, and then through a building permit.
Are the rooms, the way they're laid out here, is that what exists in the building right now?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
currently.
I don't suspect fire has anything on this one.
No
As long
concern.
as there's sprinklers in there.
That building is old and actually doesn't have any sprinklers in it.
But, okay. Any other questions from the commission? Nope.
Do we need any conditions for the bathrooms or?
No,
that'll be-
that'll all be part of the health
Okay.
permit. It'll come through.
Okay.
So we do have one condition, right?
Yes.
Which you already read.
Yes, just regarding the business license. And there's a lot of requirements in
4.74.
4.74 regarding massage establishments.
Yes, I,
It's regarding background and history, and stuff, background check.
all right. I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Berkey.
Got it. Commissioner Eichen,
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey,
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Riles,
Yes.
Commissioner Casper,
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes.
So you also will go to the village board on June 20th.
June 20th, okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we need a motion to close 2022-21.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Riles,
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken,
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey,
Yes.
Commissioner Casper,
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. All right, next up, we have approval of minutes of the regular meeting of May 11th, 2022, including the findings of fact for docket number 2022-15, 2022-17, and 2022-18.
And I believe there was one correction regarding the voting. Is that correct, Commissioner Sprague?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Wasn't,
What,
wanted to make sure it was right there.
what was the,
It was, we just had the wrong.
Just the adjournment.
commissioners. Oh, the adjournment was wrong.
It was the adjournment motion and second.
So that's been corrected.
very well, so, motion to approve the minutes as corrected?
So moved.
Second.
Got 'em?
Commissioner Berkey,
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken,
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Riles,
Yes.
Commissioner Casper,
Since I did not attend the meeting, I believe it's appropriate for me to either abstain or vote present.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. All right, other business. Let's start with Marcy. Any other business? to tell us about?
No, I have nothing.
All right. Well, we'll start with Commissioner Riles then.
I do have to say that I recently went to Meat and Potatoes because I just love their menu, but more importantly, love their dessert. They have the chocolate chip cookie with the ice cream on top, and you can actually order out to take home. And if you can't finish it that night, you got it in your freezer to finish it the next day. So it's very delicious, and I welcome them and happy that they're here.
Commissioner Sprague.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Let's go to the other end. Commissioner Casper.
Nothing other than, again, thank you all for the opportunity to participate.
Commissioner Heiken.
Nothing other than welcome to Commissioner Casper and looking forward to more times together.
Commissioner Berkey.
Nothing else, but again, welcome to Commissioner Casper.
I ask a question? Was there anything for 2078 Foster, or did my lovely secretary didn't submit everything properly? She was emailing with you about a special permit for a fence, 2078 Foster?
I believe I emailed her a couple times. She didn't respond. Sorry.
Was that a fence for a house?
No, it's
No,
a
for-
commercial building, and I just wanted to obtain a permit for a fence, and I was told by some of the inspectors that it would be called special use. Then I can store some of the stuff in the back, because, I have trucks, trailers, some of the materials, so.
Oh, okay.
The village doesn't allow to store any of those
Right.
materials
Right.
outside unless I have a.
Yeah, and then when you would know, and then we would be coordinating like public notice letters, and then you would get a copy of the agenda the week before.
Okay.
So, sorry.
No, that's
Okay.
I learned a lot of new things today. Thank you. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks for spending the evening with us.
Sorry.
Okay, just a side comment. The permit on adult use cannabis, is there a category for children's use cannabis? That we have to specify adult use cannabis?
I think that's just how it came out with the state, that when it was first permitted, that,
They're leaving themselves open in case they want to go
yeah,
younger?
that this was just for adults.
Okay.
Well, I don't know, maybe you could.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. So, motion to adjourn.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, wait a minute.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Berkey Heiken. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.